Hello and welcome to Game 2 of the StarCraft Ascension vs. Evil Geniuses series for the Acer Teamstory Cup 2013 North American Qualifiers. This is Rifkin Cassie with BatFat Panda, and of course we are from BaseTradeTV. Panda, take it away.
Alright, up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, EG Revival spawning as the Blue Zerg player, taking out Reborn in a ZBZ. Relatively quick one, I have to say, last game.
And what's happens when Mutalisks are involved, but his opponent, spawning red, spawning Protoss. Again, for StarCraft Ascension, it is Astrea.
Yeah. And he's gonna go for a gateway expand.
I would hope so. He's been, I've
This
talked...
is his thing, man. He does gateway expands.
Yeah, we've seen Astrea play a bunch in the past. I've also talked to him, and I know he's really fond of the gateway, wait, not even expand, but just like the gateway opener, period.
Yeah.
Because it leads into a lot of new possibilities. The Forge Fast expand, still not a bad build, but it doesn't allow the same level of aggression you can pull off if you go gateway first.
It's always enjoyable, like, as a caster, having these players that, like, whenever you cast them, they will do roughly the same thing. Like, Axlav, he has a little bit of a strange... Daisy does this as well. I don't know if they still commit to it in Heart of the Storm, because they haven't really cast them much, but they get a Forge in their main base, and then they go expand to the natural and get cannons up and gateways and stuff.
Yeah, well,
like,
Grubby,
I know that now.
Yeah, Grubby as well. He would always put his stuff behind the mineral lines for the
Yeah.
longest time. Yeah, okay, Revival playing very well last game. Revival as well, someone we've seen plenty of times in the Zotac Cup.
He's a ridiculously good player.
I'm just wondering, actually, if these two have maybe met each other before or not. Because I know Astrea's actually played some pretty high-profile people on the ladder before.
I don't think so. Revival doesn't ladder much.
That's
on,
what I was going to say, yeah.
NA. He plays a lot of team cups on EU. Back from TSL, like all the TSL Zergs just dominated the European Cups. Now he's really been getting hammered by Hyun, and Revival ZVZ has always been one of the strong points in his matchups. Initially when he came to EG, especially in the Pro League, he absolutely dominated players. He went undefeated for a fair amount of time, and then just suffered a ridiculous loss streak. So I'm interested to see if he can really regain his former glory, because he always has been a ridiculously solid player, both mechanically and strategically.
Yeah, I mean, like, between... It doesn't matter who. Anyone that's a big name has, at some point, participated in Zotac, and I imagine Revival's taking them all down. So, Astrea, for those who don't know, he's a bit of a younger kid. He's still new to the scene. He might just have the edge of the fact that, you know, Revival has no idea who he is. He might have that underestimation factor on his side.
I have to point something out here. The gas... Oh, there we go. The gas was totally... Astrea's gas was totally bugging out there for a good minute or so in game.
I didn't catch that. What was going on with it?
It had 3 workers in it, but it was only showing 2 workers mining gas.
That's weird.
It was really strange. It's like what happens in the second that you put the 3rd worker on the gas, except it like stayed for a minute or so.
Well, I like what Astrea's doing here. He's already put up with that Zealot. Now, we don't have a Mothership core with it just yet. It's a little too early, but I gotta say, the 2 Zealot and hell, later on 2 Stalker poke with the Mothership core, it's just so nice. Like, it sounds so silly.
Especially with the gateway first. If you go for a Nexus first and then get your gateway later, it hits ridiculously later. Then it doesn't really do the damage that is potential when you have this ridiculously early gateway followed by the Mothership core.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if he's going to start cutting probes for that Mothership core, but for now, it looks to be just 2 Zealots on a Stalker for the time being. Meanwhile, Astrea, unfortunately losing that probe, will not be able to place any sort of forward pylon down. It's a little unfortunate, but should be able to clean up these Zerglings with relative ease, or at least let them walk by and have the Stalker clean it up as it moves out.
He will be transitioning here into 4 gateway pressure. This will most likely be to get a 3rd up on this map, but we could see him commit to a 2 base all-in anymore. It's just, it's really not as common on Akalon Waste and PBZ, because you can take that 3rd so easily, and the additional gas just allows you to push.
And Revival, very luckily, unfortunately for Astrea, does get a scout off on his entire base.
Yeah, that's Zergling, man. Hero.
But okay, the forward pylon is now being established, but Astrea might lose another. Nope, probe does sneak by. Albeit narrowly.
Did you see it though? Yeah, he did. Needs to get a pylon up now. No.
No dice.
It's denied.
Alright, well, he does have that one forward. The Stalker's coming across the field, but it's got to be careful. There's definitely enough here. Oh, that brush with the Fog of War block.
Oh, 2 Zealots, actually. They will get surrounded regardless of whether or not his opponent has speed yet.
Yeah, Revival has a lot of Zerglings on the field at the moment. Mothership Core is still a little good chunk of the way away, but there are now 5 Zealots, and man, Slowlings do not compare well with Zealots.
The Gateways are going to be depowered in his base. I think the Cyber only initially, but if that second pylon does go down.
Yeah, and he's got to come home for
one of
this.
the
And he recognizes he needs to return from this. He's also going to lose a couple probes if not careful. Speed kicks in at the perfect time, Panda.
And this is ridiculously committed by Revival. If this doesn't do a ridiculous amount of damage to Astrea's economy, he will be out of the game.
Yeah, he's got a huge follow-up coming as well. Mothership Core can't quite Photon Overcharge just yet, and these Zerglings are going to skid around right through to the main. And these Zealots, while they're going to have a lot of damage to clean this up, they're too slow. Already some probes being slain by these Zerglings. Chicken Work is lost. 13 gone at this point. Oh, that's rough, Panda.
Players off and on right now are forgoing a Forge in favor of the Mothership Core because its utility is so great. But this is really the point where we see, hey, you know what, Forges may actually be pretty good.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know, the Forge Fast
17
expand.
workers being killed already.
I really feel a lot of this too was like Astrea being forced to dance back and forth. Like he had that first probe get taken out. If the pylon had been established a little bit earlier, he could have saved more forward, applied pressure, and not allowed to Revival to just, even with slow, like, because the initial push was like 12 slow lings coming across the field, no speed yet.
Yeah. Forcing him to stay defensive was key in that too, because if Revival hadn't sent that first batch of lings up to his opponent's main, the Mothership Core could have been offensive during that, and that would have easily picked off a couple more lings on his way, especially without speed. They cannot actually run away from the Mothership Core.
Yeah, and let's not forget, by being forced to use that Photon Overcharge as well, there's no chance of a recall, so Astrea can't go for that really easy mode poke that a lot of Protoss love to do. They're like, oh, I didn't bring enough forces? Go home. But man, okay, we got Roach Warren on the way, +1 missile weapons on the way as well. Some Hydras soon to be as the den has gone down. Astrea nowhere close to Colossus, Panda. I'm really scared for him right now.
Yeah, Hydra busts are really difficult to deal with without any form of AoE because of that early damage, and also the 4-gate. I mean, he opened up one gas 4-gate pressure. His 4-gate pressure was actually used to defend himself, just not to try and die to Revival's attack. So his tech is ridiculously delayed. So delayed.
One of the very rare times you associate the term 4-gate and defense.
Yeah, I know, really.
Alright, well, the Overseer are going to get in here and continue to confirm things, and the best thing is going to see is that there's a Stargate coming out, not a Robo. And Panda, I don't know, Revival's just got to be like sitting there, you know that like, invisible soap in his hands, kind of, Alright, well, Astrea's sending a Phoenix out to scout, and when he does, he's not going to be too happy to see what he finds. And of course, these Zerglings, while they're not doing any damage right now, they are keeping tabs on Astrea. He knows that he's not moving out. There's no more probes trying to get out, put sneaky pylons or anything like that. He's relying on these Phoenixes, the hallucinations to scout because, well, he has to.
And because there's no Robo yet, and you really don't want to use detection on your Oracle, the creep spread is getting kind of out of control here, especially for a Hydra push off of 3 bases. And despite the early pressure, Revival is getting up to saturation right now. I mean, he's in an okay spot.
Yeah, actually looking at the income tab right now, he's only up by a little bit of workers, but having that third base is really going to just add to everything. Now, Astrea, I like this. If he can try and get his own third right now, it would definitely, I don't know, it'd be an okay move if he can get away with it, but I don't feel like Revival's getting ready to push. He's already got so many Hydralisks on the field. The tech's there for them as well. And, I mean, even if Astrea manages to take down the collapsible rocks, you know, puts a Nexus up, he's still going to have to defend against this push. And
yeah, we do have Void Rays coming out right now, but they are they are way too late, and there are not enough of them to really benefit against these Hydralisks that we see moving across the map right now. Aspire is coming down behind this. We should see Aspire morphing relatively soon once he gets this infestation pit up. I mean, Revival's in a good spot right now, and this can only help him along that route. I don't see, even if he loses this, it's not that detrimental.
Astrea's got 4 more gateways coming in, but I don't know that it's enough. Like, I really feel if he had gone for the Robo instead of Stargate, he might actually be okay right now. But look, Cybernetics core went down almost immediately. Photon Overcharge on that Nexus. Mothership Core's gonna have to do 1 time bubble, and he's gonna have to really make that count. Of course, he's just kind of delaying the Hydralisk push.
I like how he's delaying right now. He can't really afford to push out.
Whoa, that's in range of the Nexus?
Yeah, dude.
Man, the range on that thing is insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Okay, another push forward, but some good force fields.
He's gonna actually pick off the majority of the lanes here.
Yeah, without Zergling's kind of buffer for the Hydras, I mean, while they do a ton of damage, they're also very fragile. So Astrea might, I don't know, he's got those extra gateways he just put up at home, but his economy, man, it's just not enough to warp in all the units he needs. But an overcharge continuing to go off.
Warp in some more Stalkers. The first Colossus is on the map. It does not have Thermal Lance quite yet, and his force field count is quite low at the moment. Jesus, I mean, 26 kills, man.
It is holding for the time being, but again, this is Astrea backed in the corner. He's not expanding. He can't really do much off this. Mutalisk even being the transition choice here, because why not?
Yeah, Mutalisk against his opponent's low Stalker count, really gonna help. Oh, Changeling's actually blocking the ramp from the Stalker.
Oh, that is a cheeky and annoying revival. But props, because I've actually seen people use that to win games.
Oh, absolutely. I forget, there was a hold position Zealot. I was against Grubby, but I forget who the Zerg was playing. It was on Cloud Kingdom, but he hold positioned a Zealot in his opponent's hole in the wall. And Grubby couldn't get any of his units out to defend his third base and ended up losing it and losing the game.
These poor Void Rays.
Yeah, that's just, it's so unfortunate.
Getting caught by the Mutalisk. I mean, now he's going to try and go home, but he's so slow, the Hydralisk will get him on the other side. This is the worst.
With that muscular augment.
Yeah, I mean, Astrea had the right idea. You know, he can't sit at home all day. He had to get out and try and do some damage, even if it's just sniping off a hatchery at the third or something. But that opportunity will not be afforded to him with these poor Void Rays.
I really like that move, though, because if his opponent did not actually have Mutalisk on the field, that would have been a dead fourth base. Or a cancelled fourth base, depending on when he actually got there.
And he's expanding behind this too, so not a bad choice. But again, he's finding himself back into this really, really hard corner.
Although he is getting to the point where he can stabilize against what his opponent's throwing at him. Revival has to acknowledge this and either cut the...
Oh, if he can catch these Hydralisks with some force fields, man, this can turn out really nicely for him.
Yeah, Revival's in a position where he doesn't really need to work out his opponent's economy.
So beautiful. And
but
this is
in the meantime, we see a bunch of Mutalisks coming into his opponent's natural, and the Speedlings will be able to take this. Unfortunately, the Mutants, I don't think they'll be able to take out these Phoenix with the support.
Yeah, Phoenix doing some beautiful kiting around right now. I mean, I gotta give it to Astrea. He's still in this game is the thing, and not only is he it, he's actually looking not too bad with that Colossus count, but the creep spread, man. I always say it. The creep spread is kind of a silent secondary indicator to who's winning the game, like a small little tug-of-war. And right now, Revival just has so much across the field.
Revival's up at around 80 drones right now. He's constantly pumping Speedlings to try and damage his opponent's economy, but I mean, he's in an economically superior position. He should really just try and tech up a little bit more. Mutalisks are great, but when your opponent is pushing like constant Phoenix production for the past 2 minutes or so, unless you have a ridiculous amount of mutas, it's going to be difficult to make this work.
Oh man, I gotta say, I love watching that many Speedlings get fried alive. Not just as a Terran player, but I mean, in general, it looks cool.
In the natural, we do have Mutalisk doing a ridiculous amount of probe damage. At this point, Astrea will have to just commit to an all-in. He really doesn't have a choice here.
Yeah.
There's the good game.
A sad end to a game, but Revival continuing forward.
Yeah.
A 2-0, very nice start.